Have you ever heard about someone who just seems to do everything right? They eat clean, they hit the gym, they look like the picture of health. And then, out of nowhere, they have a massive heart attack. It makes you wonder, right? How is that even possible? Well, today, we're going to pull back the curtain and uncover the hidden truths behind why even the healthiest people can be at serious risk.
Just let that sink in for a second. For half of all men, and get this, for 64% of women, there are no warning signs. No chest pain, no shortness of breath. They feel totally fine 1 minute, and the next, it's over. This isn't some rare freak occurrence. It's a terrifyingly common reality.
So that brings us back to the big question. How can this happen? Especially to someone who is checking all the right boxes. This is the central mystery we are going to solve together today. And believe me, it's a fascinating story of biology, a little bit of deception, and a hidden battle that's happening inside our own bodies.
And this all leads us to what I like to call the healthy heart paradox. See, from the outside, everything looks perfect, but inside, there's a silent process at work. So let's put on our detective hats and investigate the scene of this biological crime.
Now, you might think this is just about a few really unlucky people, but it's not. The data shows that about a quarter, 1 in 4, heart attacks strike people who have none of the classic risk factors. We're talking people who aren't overweight, they don't smoke, their cholesterol numbers look great on paper. So what in the world is really going on here?
To find the answer, our investigation has to go deeper. We need to look inside the arteries themselves, because that's where a kind of silent sabotage has been taking place, often for decades, without a single noticeable symptom. And let me introduce you to the main player in our story, the left anterior descending artery, or the LAD for short. This artery is so important, it's basically the main fuel line for your heart's most powerful pump. It's so critical, in fact, that in the ER, doctors have a chilling nickname for it, the Widowmaker. A sudden blockage right here is, well, it's often catastrophic. Okay, so this next part is absolutely crucial to understanding the whole paradox. Most of us picture plaque buildup like a clog in a kitchen pipe, right? Just slowly narrowing the opening. But that's not actually how it works. In reality, the plaque builds up inside the wall of the artery. And here's the crazy part. As it grows, the artery wall itself stretches outward to make room for it. It's a process called positive remodeling. What this means is you can have a huge amount of plaque, a real ticking time bomb, but the channel for blood flow can stay wide open. You can go run a marathon, feel fantastic, and have absolutely zero symptoms. It's the body's own perfect deception.
So if the usual risk factors like high cholesterol aren't the whole story, then what is? Well, it's time to round up the unusual suspects, the hidden culprits that are really driving this silent danger.
First on our list is chronic inflammation. The best way to think about this is like a low-grade fire that's just constantly smoldering inside your blood vessels. It's this nonstop irritation that damages the delicate lining of your arteries. And that damage creates the perfect, sticky environment for plaque to start forming and, even more importantly, to become unstable and dangerous. And this inflammation, it doesn't just come out of thin air. It's fueled by things we do every day and often just ignore. Things like consistently getting less than 6 hours of sleep at night, or chronic stress that keeps your cortisol levels jacked up. It can even come from hidden infections or the industrial seed oils that are in so many of our ultra-processed foods. A really key blood marker to keep an eye on for this is called C-reactive protein. It can be a huge red flag for this hidden fire.
All right, our second major suspect is something called insulin resistance. This is what happens when your body's cells basically start ignoring the hormone insulin. This leads to higher blood sugar, for sure, but it also leads to the buildup of a really specific, really dangerous type of fat called visceral fat. Now, this isn't the fat you can pinch on your belly. This is the internal fat that wraps itself around your organs, including your heart itself.
So how do you know if you might have insulin resistance? Well, there's some pretty clear clues you can look for. A large waist size is a big one. But you can also look for things like skin tags or patches of darkened skin in your armpits. On a blood test, it shows up as high triglycerides and low good HDL cholesterol. And just that feeling of, having trouble losing weight or feeling like you have to eat every couple of hours or you'll crash, these are all signs your body is struggling with insulin.
And of course, we can't forget the accomplices in this crime. Genetics, for one, plays a massive role. Scientists estimate that up to half of your risk for heart disease is just written into your DNA. And then there's chronic stress, which acts like an accelerant on the fire. That constant drip of the stress hormone cortisol just silently makes your arteries get older, faster, year after year.
So, we've got this hidden plaque fueled by inflammation and insulin resistance. But what's the trigger? What actually causes the heart attack itself? Well, it turns out there are two main ways this attack can go down. Two very different MOs for how a seemingly healthy heart can just suddenly fail.
The most common type of heart attack, type 1, isn't caused by a slow, 100% blockage. It happens when a soft, unstable plaque, think of it like a pimple or a blister on the artery wall, suddenly bursts. The body freaks out and tries to heal this rupture by forming a massive blood clot, and it's that clot that suddenly and completely blocks the artery. Then there's the type 2 attack, which we often see in superfit athletes. This is a supply and demand crisis. A partial blockage is already there, but during something extreme like a marathon, the heart is screaming for more oxygen than the narrowed artery can possibly deliver, and the heart muscle starts to die from starvation.
But here's where we get some good news. Your body is incredibly smart. It has a secret backup system. Over time, it can actually grow tiny new blood vessels, like little side streets on a map, to go around a blockage. This is called collateral circulation. And what's the absolute best way to encourage your body to build these life-saving detours? You guessed it, consistent exercise. You are literally paving new roads in your heart that could one day save your life. Okay, so we've solved the mystery of how a healthy person can have a heart attack. Now we can finally shift our focus to prevention. This is all about moving from just being aware of these silent risks to taking proactive, concrete actions to protect yourself.
And of course, the foundation of all of this starts with the stuff we all kind of know we should be doing, right? A heart-healthy diet, moving your body regularly, getting good sleep, and managing your stress. The American Heart Association actually bundles these up into something called Life's Essential 8. And honestly, they're just non-negotiables.
But, and I really need you to hear this, this is probably the most important takeaway from our entire discussion today. Even if you have the most perfect lifestyle on the planet, it might not be enough. You cannot feel plaque. That whole positive remodeling thing hides it from you. You absolutely have to go look for it. A standard physical is very likely to miss it.
The good news is we have incredible technology now that can find this hidden danger. A great first step is something called a coronary artery calcium scan, a CAC scan. It's super quick, maybe 5 minutes, and it detects hardened plaque. But an even more advanced tool is the CT angiogram. This scan actually creates a 3D map of your arteries, and it can see not just the hard, stable plaque, but also the dangerous, soft, unstable stuff that's most likely to rupture.
Think about it this way. You wouldn't wait until your house was totally engulfed in flames to call the fire department, would you? Of course not. You have a smoke detector. Well, that's what these scans are. They're the smoke detector for your heart, allowing you to find the fire long before the house burns down. So we'll end with this question for you. Your heart works tirelessly, day in and day out, and it hides its secrets very, very well. Now that you know about the hidden risks, the silent inflammation, the insulin resistance, the plaque you can't feel, what is the one proactive choice you're going to make for your heart, starting today?